Welcome back to the Marketing MadMen on Extra 106.3. Nick Constantino here, and we're finishing up our conversation with Shena Simmons, the CEO of Stewart Simmons. And we've covered a lot, as we usually do. What I'm most curious about is, what is the intention with the brand? You have now cultivated for 8 going on 9 years this brand. The passion that you have for it and seeing people in it is clear. What do you do to protect this brand? What do you do to grow this brand? It doesn't have to just be a marketing conversation, but I have to imagine your life is so intertwined with this brand now. You feel like you are the ambassador. Talk about what you do to protect and grow this brand.
Well, I'll start with the growth perspective. I told you that we went from 14 to 34 schools this year. We want to take what we're doing at those 34 schools and bring it to more universities. And so that's super important to us.
Maryland.
Okay,
University of Maryland Terrapins. The turtle's really cool.
Bring some turtles on board. You'll have to teach me a little bit. Honestly, I love going to new schools because I get to learn. Like, I don't know what all these mascots are, what all the sayings are.
And there's a big testudo. It's a kind of turtle, terrapin.
Okay.
And you rub his nose in the middle of the mall for good luck before every game.
Yeah,
Everyone has to go rub the turtle's nose.
This is news to me, right? And so learning all these things is a whole heck of a lot of fun. But hey, when we're making products, like, we want to know that. We want to know what the sayings are. We want to know what the colors are that they really wear, not what's on their catalog, that type of thing. But we have been very, very football based, and that's where my true love is. That's what I've always been a big fan of. But we're starting to expand outside of just doing football clothes, and we've started working with schools that are more basketball oriented or baseball oriented. And so we're starting to bring in. This year is the first year that we'll launch our first winter collection, and so we're starting to bring stuff that's more basketball oriented, so that we're not really putting all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to football. But we've got these other sports that we're marketing towards as well.
And you have the expansion, proliferation of women's sports.
Of course, which is so exciting.
It's just insane.
Yeah, and we're a women brand, right?
So I feel like the public demand is very inauthentic. I feel like it was triggered. I feel like, look, Caitlin Clark, that's it, right? This whole wave has started, but there are lots of good players. But I feel like the biggest problem you have is that everyone wants to have all this money and all this stuff invested, but you are putting the supply first, and the demand has to be first. And yes, there's demand there when she shows up, but the rest of the games, there's only 6,000 people at the arena. And the rest of the times, you don't see WNBA shirts going for sale at stores. So the demand needs to build up. We're trying to push it on the supply side, which never ends well. So I just think that instead of trying to force this down people's throats, let the free market dictate what happens. So I think that's a good thing for you, because I don't test you as someone who's going to go on and try to rig the system and rig supply. But I think as women's become more involved in this, anything that's the case will help the business.
I will tell you, I'm intrigued by it, and I'm willing to go out there and say, let's make some product for it and let's see what happens, right? Like, that's how excited I am just about the growth of women's sports in general. And so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I think that, again, I don't want to get into the NIL conversation, but I think a lot of that.
I feel like you maybe do want to get into it.
Well, look, it's going to destroy sports. The amount of money everybody's got their hands out is the problem. Every time you have a modern form of marketing, it's one of the big problems with digital marketing. Everybody's got their hands out. Everyone wants a cut. By the time it gets to the players, who does it really help? Does it really go to the female athletes that deserve it the most, or is it the hot chicks with the most Instagram followers? And we know what's happening. So that's why I said I don't want to cover it, because I don't have a very positive outlook right now. And look, it's another new emerging industry. It will self-rationalize. It will normalize out. I just get really worried that all of a sudden, to pay the players, to pay the schools, to pay the IHGs of the world, to pay IMGs of the world, to pay everybody, the ticket prices have to go up, and the experience have to go up, and then the trademarking has to go up, and the licenses have to go up, and then the ability to watch it costs are going to go up. And if all those costs go up, are you separating yourselves from the audience who built you with what you are?
Yeah,
that's my big concern.
That's fair.
So. Okay, well, we went Debbie Downers. Let's go back to Patty Positive. Yeah. So one of the things here it says is that work-life balance is really important. I imagine that's for your people. How many employees do you guys have now?
We're only 4, so still a small team, full time, and then we've outsourced a lot of stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So that work-life balance is important, though, and you got to make sure you have time to go play and be out and see these things. It's got to be a product that you use also, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're all, everybody on the team, it's all, the 4 of us are women, and so we're all, juggling all the different things. But listen, like, work-life balance for the first 6 years was not a thing for me, right? You don't go into this expecting to build a brand and be able to be there for every moment. And so, frankly, I'm just now at the point where I'm starting to really reap the benefits of that. And once you start to taste it and you realize that you actually can grow a brand and be very involved with everything else, you get kind of excited by that.
Yeah, and I think what you do is you remove barriers to entry for somebody to come and take your lunch behind you, and that's what the work goes towards, right?
Yes.
Right? Like Nike was on top of the world until all of a sudden Lululemon and On and Hoka started creeping up the back, and they didn't try to build Rome in a day. They came up the backside, they did the things their own way, and then all of a sudden it blatantly looked like Nike knee jerk to try to start defensive mode, and when you're in defensive mode, you're screwed. Yeah. So talk about some of your favorite products. Talk about the ones that people should buy, and tell people how to find you and what to look for. Because again, I think that there's probably more to it than we've even put out from this show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want statement pieces to wear on game day, or your brand, so if you want sequins or big glitter script or oversized everything, then come to Stewart Simmons, and we've got a lot of fun stuff coming out for 2025 and fun matching sets and big fringe everything. And so it's a lot of new stuff coming out. But yeah, we're here for the fans that really want to go and show off their fandom. Yeah,
so t-shirts, headbands. I mean, again, I'm not a girly guy, so I don't know the answer to this. I'm getting better with my daughter, but like headbands, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, sweatpants. What kind of stuff are we talking?
We're
Everything.
All clothes, just apparel, and so we're not doing accessories. And it's interesting with licensing. Like, you need permission to do anything new. If I want to make tank tops and I was just doing shirts, you have to get their sign off with every single school. Yeah. And so we're doing apparel and just game day apparel, women and children.
How's the children market going?
It's great. We don't have it across all of our schools. Okay. We love to do mommy and me pieces, and so what you'll see is a lot of matching. It's fun, frankly. Do we make a lot of money off of it? No, there's just not the margin there.
It's fun watching my daughter when she goes, "Daddy, can we wear our matching shirts when we go to bed tonight?" Like, that is just like a melt to your heart, because it's not going to happen for very long. Yeah. She's not matching me. She's 7 now. I think till that she's 10, maybe she's going to say, "Daddy, can we match?" So like, I see the appeal of it, but at the same time, they grow even faster, and like
they do. And people don't like to spend a ton of money on it, but frankly, it costs me just as much to make a kid's shirt as it does a women's shirt, right? And so that it's kind of hard financially. But I told you I love walking around games and seeing women wear our products. I really love walking around games and seeing the little ones wear our stuff. That's what really melts my heart.
That's awesome. So let's pretend that there's no one on earth that's going to be a competitor to you. What advice do you have people that are trying to start their own business, trying to get into these kind of spaces? What tips would you have for them?
Yeah, know your market. I mean, that's always going to be the first thing. Like, we know who our customer is, and every year we create a brand new stinking collection, and it doesn't look anything like last year's collection, but we know exactly who our customer is and what it is that we need to create.
Now, that's more intuition than data, you said. This is not a huge data set. This is just
It's just us know. Frankly, that is so much work for us. That is so much market research. That's going to these games, that's seeing what people are wearing, it's talking to our retailers and seeing what they're looking for. And so that is a big piece of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think that's the problem, is a lot of people rely on a set of data, and they're trying to make inferences and deduct things, and you'll never be able to deduct the same thing as you would going to a game and seeing what the tailgate experience is like 100%. And the pregame experience
and like
I
said, that's different at every school, and so we can't just go to a game at Georgia and say this is what we need to do for everybody.
If you have never been to the Iron Bowl, Auburn versus Alabama, you don't know anything, because if those two teams were the worst teams in America, they would come to kill each other in that game, and there would be more pageantry than anything on earth. Like, I think Georgia Tech used to have that. I know it's still there, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. The communities have so much. One of the things about Atlanta, there's so much to do, right? You're in the middle of Alabama, between Tuscaloosa and Auburn. What are you going to do?
They got football.
They got football.
Yeah, that's it.
They got football. Well, this has been a great conversation. Tell everybody where to find you. Tell them the social handles and everything.
Go to StewartSimmons.com, #Stewart_Simmons across social.
And then go to check out Extra 106.3. Check out the Marketing MadMen. Listen to previous episodes. We got a lot of content just like this. You've been listening to the Marketing MadMen on Extra 106.3, and we will catch you next week.